What is up, you guys? It's your boy Shay Luke back with another video. And today, man, I just want to talk about Detroit. Detroit and kind of what they got going into this season. Because Detroit is interesting, man. And what DanCampbell has done to basically turn around everything that they have going there is crazy. It's literally crazy. I mean, the Goff trade with Matthew Stafford was huge. And I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I was a massive Matthew Stafford fan. Massive in Detroit. I had a best friend. He's a big Detroit fan. So I watched so many Matthew Stafford games with the Lions. And I was just like, dude, this dude is tough as nails. I'm like, the rest of this team is just letting him down. They're just not getting it done for him. Then the trade happened. And I thought Goff was good with the Rams. I guess Sean McVay thought otherwise. But I don't know. It worked out for both teams in the end. But with Detroit this last year, just the way their depth throughout their whole team played with all of those injuries was one of the most insane things I've ever witnessed in football. Ever witnessed. I mean, there's other teams that had injuries this year. For instance, the San Francisco 49ers. I know they're I hear their fans talk about this and that injury, and I'm like, dude, the Lions were like injured by far way worse than you guys. And I was like, I don't hear all the excuse. They're winning games. What's your guys' excuse? And that's basically why I gained so much respect for the Detroit Lions, because I was like, they had next man up mentality. It didn't even matter. And just every time somebody went down, somebody always stepped up. Every single time. It didn't even matter. So any team that dealt with injuries majorly, I was just like, look at Detroit. I don't want to hear it. No excuses. I mean, Goff had a good year. The offense had a good year. Jahmyr Gibbs, just a crazy season. Dude, I knew he was going to be good straight out of Bama. Like, I just knew it. And it's just wild, dude. Like, just how they rallied around all these injuries. It's literally crazy. Like, their defense, I remember when their defense went down, I was like, bruh, how are they going to keep getting this done without their top guys? And, you know, all the talk about, like, Hutchinson. Oh, Hutchinson's going to be back. He's going to be back for right around the playoffs. I knew it. I was like, bro, he ain't coming back. He ain't coming back the rest of the playoffs, and he won't come back if they get into the Super Bowl. I just didn't buy the hype. I was like, there's no way that they'd risk like a high-end pass rusher like that just to come back for the Super Bowl. And I mean, it is the Super Bowl, right? It is a big deal. But I'm like, bro, they're not gonna risk 5 to 10 years, you know what I mean? Just for him to come back for that one game. And I do understand it's the Super Bowl, but still, dude, it's just like, nah, this is something that we're going to rehab. We're going to take our time. And DanCampbell, like, I relate to some, I don't know, as you guys know, I'm a Philly fan. Nick Sirianni is a CEO coach, and DanCampbell is a CEO coach. So they have that similarity. And if I remember right, they were hired in the same year. So for the Lions to be as good as they were this last year, I'm like, okay, well, what are they going to be like next year when they're healthy? Now, coming with that, they have new OC. They have a new DC. And we've seen with teams, when they have new coordinators, sometimes it takes a quarter of the year, half of the year. Sometimes the whole year is just shit. That could be the case with Detroit. I'm not going to say that because they're an extremely talented roster, but it could be something to look for. Like, it honestly could be something to look for. So Detroit fans, do not be surprised if your defense takes a step down or your offense takes a step down. I'd lean more with the offense still being pretty good, just because of the talent there. The only thing that concerns me with the offense, new play caller, it is a concern, but I don't know. I lean more towards the offense being better than the defense, but I could be wrong because their defense also has a really they have really good players on both sides. They have good players on both sides, you know what I mean? But when you have your quarterback at the helm, back with his guys, there's a lot of like continuity there, you know what I mean? So like I'm expecting them to be on the same page, and hopefully they're running a similar type of offense. I expect them to be running a similar type of offense. If I remember, did they hire within the Lions organization, or I need to look. I completely forgot about their OC that they hired. But yeah, man, the only thing that concerns me is with Detroit these last 2 to 3 years, their offensive line has been considered one of the best, right? But then their center just retired out of nowhere. It was kind of shocking. I don't know if Lions fans knew this. I had no, but I just saw that he retired, and it didn't really look like they replaced him. It didn't really look like they drafted for a potential replacement. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. Because if they have issues in the interior, that could be a problem. It could be. It's just something you got to look for. There's starters on their offensive line outside of center. Pretty solid. I don't really know with Detroit how good their depth is. I don't know why, but I've just never really looked into their depth on their offensive line. So I'll need to look into that. But yeah, that center could be a big deal. Getting back a ton of dudes on defense is going to be massive. Their defense should be way better than they were last year. And their defense is good. But just the DC just kind of, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I expect them to be number one in the NFC North. But I just did a video on Green Bay, and I know a lot of people like to talk and say things about Green Bay. They had a rough going this year in the NFC North. They didn't really have the best record, but I could see Green Bay and Detroit going back and forth for that number one in the NFC North. I just could see it because there's just a lot of new in the NFC North right now. You got new OC in DC and Detroit. Minnesota has a new quarterback. That's a massive deal. People are trying to act like that's not a big deal. I see people say like, oh, well, they win. Chicago's the only one that has all the concern. I'm like, Minnesota won, but they have a new quarterback, and we don't know how good he is. So that's a big deal, right? And then with Green Bay, you got the Jordan Love question. How good will he play? I think Jordan Love is going to play good, but I guess we'll see. And then Chicago. Dude, if Chicago racks up 7 to 9 wins, and I think they're going to give Detroit problems at least one of those games. Like splitting between the two, wins and losses, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest. Because just Chicago's offense just being a little bit better will make all the difference. Their defense is good until Matt Eberflus got fired. So I expect their defense to be literally like top 13, top 12, whatever. That's my guess. But their division will be tougher. The NFC is pretty interesting because there's a couple teams that were bad last year that I'm expecting to be better this year. So Detroit will also have to be fighting with that. The way their season ended, like, I'm not even trying to be hateful towards Detroit fans, but I just knew it was going to end like that, dude. Like, we saw that last game of the season. They messed up Minnesota. Sam Darnold looked like such a joke, dude. He looked like he shouldn't have even been out there. It's like, oh, okay. So he can't perform on the big stage. Then we saw the Vikings lose in the playoffs. We see Detroit just dominate. And then we saw how Detroit went. We saw how Detroit went out. I mean, going up against Washington, that honestly did not shock me in the slightest, because I was like, all these injuries will catch up to them sooner or later. Like, I've seen teams go into the playoffs and have injuries and, still manage to win games, possibly get to the Super Bowl. The way Detroit was injured, that's different. That's different, dude. So, yeah, It just didn't shock me the way it went out. And some of their fans I know were stunned, and I'm like, dude, you can't be like that injured on both sides of the ball, especially on your defense, literally depleted, and expect to go up against the playoff teams and win games. You know what I mean? Regular season, you're going up against a regular season team. Playoff football is completely different atmosphere. It's playoff football. Everybody's playing at their best. And yeah, man, just the way they lost, I was like I knew Washington had a chance against them. I was like, Washington's hot. Washington's on fire. I was like, Detroit is also kind of on fire, but they're not healthy, and it will catch up to you. So, going into the season, I think Detroit's going to be good. I really do. Like, when you have a talented roster, even with new coaching staff, you're going to win games. How many games? With Detroit, it's tough because, like I said, I have more faith in the offense being better than the defense. But there's that chance, like I said, that both coordinators could be bad. And that, like we said, DanCampbell is a CEO coach. Can he fix all that? Can he fix either side? Have to see. We'll have to see. It could be all right because of the talent, but it could literally derail their whole season if the coaches aren't good on both sides of the ball. So we'll see. Coaching has to be solid. Doesn't have to be good, just has to be solid. Talent will ascend you to a certain height. And DanCampbell's a great coach, right? And yeah, man, we'll see with Detroit. I'm expecting 11 plus wins, but those other factors could change things. It could easily change things. So I don't know, man. You guys let me know what you guys think. You guys think Detroit's gonna be the same team they were last year with these new DC and OC, or do you think they're gonna suck? You think they're gonna freaking crank out 7 to 9 wins or some shit? I don't know. Guess we'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyways, guys, it's your boy Shady Luke. I'm outie. I'll catch you on the next one.